Hey everybody, Todd Caponi here. A little bit of counterintuitive advice, and it has to do with your logo slide or your NASCAR slide as it's also called. So while I was in my last role as Chief Revenue Officer, one of the rules that I had, and it was a joke, but there was some meat behind it, was if I saw a NASCAR slide or a logo slide in a sales presentation, and it was one of the first 5 slides in a deck, whoever put it in there is fired. So why would I adopt such an extreme position around such a commonly used tool in a salesperson's arsenal? Well, it's science. So let's think about it. Let's imagine that you're in a consensus sale, which most of us are dealing with today, and we've got 10 buyers that we're presenting to. Out of those 10, 5 of them are leaning towards you, so they're thinking that you might be the right vendor for them. But the other 5, they're walking in that are either leaning maybe towards a competitor or they're leaning towards doing nothing at all, the status quo. So how does your logo slide or your NASCAR slide, and it's called that because if you imagine NASCARs, they're covered in logos. You put up your slide that is filled with really impressive logos. You're so proud of these companies that you work with. What happens? Well, the 5 that are leaning towards you, they're going to look at that slide and go, yeah, you know what? If this vendor is good enough for those companies, they're good enough for us, which is great. They're going to use it when they go to justify making that purchase for you. But the 5 that are against you, they're actually going to use that same exact slide and they're going to use it against you, and it's going to solidify their position against you. They're going to look at that slide and either say, you know what, we're going to be a really small fish in a big pond with these guys. Wow, they're working with some really big companies. We're going to get lost. Or they're going to look at it and say, hey, you know what? I only see a couple of companies that are in our vertical. I wonder if they're generalists or do they really understand our business? I don't think they do. So they're going to use that exact same logo slide, that one that you're so proud of, against you. Logic is polarizing. The way we combat that is through stories and emotions and feelings. It's the way that we're wired to make decisions. And those emotions and those stories should be based in your customer successes. So instead of putting up a logo slide that's got 20 logos, tell stories that relate back to the customer that you're presenting to's issues and problems and challenges. Those stories will lend the exact credibility you're trying to do with your logical slide, your logo slide, but they're going to do it in story form, which is what the brain craves, and it'll end up proving out for them that you understand their business. Now take that logo slide, put it in the appendix, that's fine. So that if a customer says, all right, who else are you working with? You can show it then, but don't make it a part of your opening because logic is polarizing. And emotion and feeling and stories, they bind. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Thanks.